Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Superman. So this is the first movie of the new DC universe that James Gunn has rebooted, following the previous DC universe that we all knew many years ago. And yeah, it was a truly forgettable universe. I don't think people really cared about the movies too much. I would say as a universe franchise for most DC movies has been pretty poor. Like they ended that universe with a whimper with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which was a terrible superhero movie in recent years. But yeah, that's all well and gone now. So this is a new reboot of the universe that James Gunn's doing, and he's also serving as director for the new Superman movie. So I know this is not really a great time to really rebooting superhero movies. I really do feel they've lost their popularity in recent years. But as a movie, does this movie live up, essentially? Is it a good film? And I say yes. And I don't really think this really comes as a surprise, considering the fact that James Gunn did the Guardians of the Galaxy films, like all three of them, and they're all very good. I enjoyed all three of the movies. And really, when it comes to Superman, a lot of that really does show. And it really does show it's a better direction for the DC Universe and the franchise, potentially, seeing where that goes. So, the movie itself. So, the movie really stars as Superman trying to protect Earth from Lex Luthor, who Lex Luthor has framed him as a villain. And essentially, Superman must prove to the Earth, as well as Metropolis, that he is their protector. Because he serves as the only meta-human on Earth. And Lex Luthor tries to create clones of powerful meta-humans to fight against Superman. And I think it does show that Lex Luthor is a very good villain. I think my really big compliment with the movie is definitely Nicholas Hoult. I think he portrays Lex Luthor very, very well. I mean, David Corenswet as well, I think, does very, very well as Superman. Personally, I think people will look back and thinking that Henry Cavill would have been the perfect Superman, but obviously this is a rebooted franchise. I don't think they were going to stick with similar actors for this film, but David Corenswet actually does really, really well. And I think those are like some of the compliments with this movie, like the acting, and they do create good action moments, especially when Superman comes up against Ultraman as well, which is essentially a clone of himself that Lex Luthor programs, essentially. So he has like this sort of mega corporation, and his team essentially like do commands like enabling Ultraman's powers essentially against Superman. And it's very, very cool that they really choreographed all of these sort of action moments in this film. But as much as the action and the moments in this movie are good, and they're certainly an improvement for other DC movies, now I think narratively or the story, it's practically like generic superhero films. Like I don't really feel like the narrative adds a lot of depth to a lot of the characters in this movie. And there are a lot of characters in this movie, like Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and also Hawk Girl. They were introduced in this movie, but they're not exactly adding much to the film. They're essentially just characters that essentially just help Superman to stop potentially Lex Luthor. So it's not exactly like they were really added for any sort of story sakes. It's just more or less they're just a formatted gang that come in to Superman's aid. And it does work. I mean, it wasn't like anything for me to criticize with the movie in any sense, but I do think like the story doesn't really have much of a progression or much depth that it could really add as much as I thought it would. Now, I think other moments that they really do try and push with this movie, and I think they pushed it a lot for humor's sake, is that they use Krypto, which is essentially Superman's pet, and obviously he's got like Superman abilities as well. So anything that involves with Krypto was always like a scene that they really wanted to try and push with this movie. Now, it didn't really bore me in any way. I didn't really care so much about it, but I think they really wanted to try and just kind of add like some sort of humor to this movie, like Krypto being this sort of pet companion, but also very powerful. So anytime Krypto will jump at Superman or anyone else, and even times Lex Luthor in certain parts of the film, it would just be like sort of havoc and chaos essentially. And don't get me wrong, I liked it. It wasn't like it never got really like too tedious to the point where I was actually getting bored just seeing Crypto around. But yeah, I mean that was like a part of the moments that they really try and push with this movie is really that. Also, I would say, I mean, the CGI in recent DC films have been very like questionable. Like especially if you remember the Flash, with the use of the CGI was pretty bad. Especially like how they deliberately used the CGI to be awful to replicate the speed. Like obviously Superman's also fast, and they do kind of replicate like that sort of fast sequences where Superman's flying very quick, and the use of the CGI is better in this film. So I really do think they do make a lot more improvements as a better quality superhero movie for this revamped universe. But overall for me, I think Superman is a very good movie. It's a bit of a shame that this movie has come out at a time where superhero movies haven't really been very popular, but I've enjoyed it. And I'm pretty optimistic to see like whether this is gonna essentially maybe revive the superhero films in some way now James Gunn's working on the DC universe. But I think time will tell whether this movie does well on the box office, whether essentially the revenue goes in to make other superhero films. We just have to wait and see, I guess. But Superman, for me, gets a good approval from me. I enjoyed it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of Superman if you have watched the movie. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you want to dislike. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.